Hello everyone, Ace here, and today, well, let's have a talk about Santa Inc. A show that is rightfully getting the reputation of being a real dumpster fire, thanks partly due to the atrocious trailer put out by HBO Max. However, a trailer is of course not the end-all and be-all to a show, so I decided to actually sit down and watch some of it. And thus, I can safely say that the actual show itself is far worse than what the trailer implies. Quite the achievement, I know, however it seems that Seth Rogan and company have still managed to pull it off. But to understand the problems with this show, allow me to first bring up the premise, which is that the current iteration of Santa Claus is getting old and needs a new successor. And while a successor was already chosen, the individual in question, known as Brent, has decided to leave and instead get a job working at Amazon Prime rather than become the new Santa Claus. And honestly, from the sound of that statement, it appears that Santa Claus actually dodged something of a bullet if his successor managed to be stupid enough to prefer being an employee of Amazon Prime over being the next Santa. But regardless, this ends up being the catalyst to push the main character of the show to try to be the first female Santa. And this is where problem number 2 arises with regards to the show, because while Santa is willing to give this person the opportunity to become the new Santa, the only reason for this is because she is a woman. In other words, the show is trying to criticize the practice of diversity hires, while at the same time trying to get the audience to relate to a certain individual character exclusively because she is a certain gender. So the message that Seth Rogen is trying to push constantly contradicts itself and wants to do the exact same things that it ultimately condemns, ironically enough. You may now be wondering why I'm talking about this show's message, especially given that it is a comedy. And the answer, simply put, is because this film is blatant propaganda, with the political messages being given a higher priority than both the artistic and entertainment qualities of the show, with politics being openly and forcefully inserted against the consent of the audience. So in other words, it can be safely said that the writers have artistically raped the show of Santa Inc. And nowhere is this artistic rape more obvious than when it comes to the show's comedy, with the same tired, bland jokes being repeated ad nauseum and drilled into your skull to ensure that you get the message. That message being that everyone is being systemically oppressed by a specific group of people. The Judearchy. Oh, my mistake, I confused social justice with National Socialism again. I meant to say that message being that everyone is being systemically oppressed by a specific group of people. The Patriarchy. This show clearly pushes the conspiracy theory that the patriarchy is behind everything, and wants you to hate the members of the patriarchy. For you see, even the members of the patriarchy that are homeless and living in a dumpster are still somehow systemically oppressing everyone else. And therefore a solution must be at hand to deal with the patriarchy question. Or at least that's how the show wants you to think about those specific individuals. With this in mind, it's not difficult to see why the show has a 3% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. And by now, I hope you see why I'm not exactly a huge fan of the show myself. It really is an absolute dumpster fire that should be avoided. And hopefully this show does get avoided enough that this dumpster fire does not continue with a second season. But in any case, this has been Ace. Hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Ace out.